Pupils at a Cape Town high school are protesting the dismissal of the principal by refusing to attend classes. Heathfield's high school's Wesley Neumann was fired for insubordination and misconduct. The Provincial Education Department says he refused to follow instruction to reopen the school during the COVID-19 pandemic, and pupils are now refusing to learn until Neumann is reinstated. eNCA's Monique Mortlock is at the school this morning to give us some details. Monique, good morning, a colleague. I mean, what is happening just in terms of that protest involving learners?
Yesterday we heard from former SGB members that there was a group of learners and some community members here at Heathfield High School protesting because of the arrival of two new caretaker principals that the WCED has placed at the school until a permanent position is filled, until they find a principal to permanently fill the position. This group allegedly protested, and according to the Western Cape Education Department, also caused some damage to school property. Now, according to the WCED, those who protested yesterday are demanding that Mr. Wesley Neumann be reinstated as the principal here at Heathfield High School. But the department says this is legally impossible because the decision has already been made, although we know that earlier this month, when my colleague Nobesutu Hejana did a story in which Mr. Neumann just gave an outline of his plans moving forward because he would not accept the department's demotion, and he then said that he will take it further, take the department's dismissal further by going to the bargaining council. That's what we know for now. This morning, I have been able to speak to a learner who said that she isn't sure whether protests will continue, although that was the plan, that from yesterday up until Friday, that community members have been called on to join learners, those learners who want Mr. Neumann back, to join them in protesting. In fact, I don't know if my colleague Crescendo will be able to show you, just outside of the school, on the gate, here's a poster saying Heathfield High School community, calling on all community members to join our picket in support of Mr. Neumann from Monday to Friday, from 7 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And as you can read, it says an injury to one is an injury to all. Community power, Samstan. So this is clearly a call by those still in support of Wesley Neumann, who was the former principal here at Heathfield High School, to join this protest. But we'll see today if it does indeed take place, because as the department told us, the situation seems to have stabilized. It's still very early in the morning. Learners are still making their way here, and hopefully we'll be able to speak to some community members and some learners if they do decide to once again disrupt teaching and learning today, which the department says has condemned, saying that especially with it being exam time, that they are hoping that the situation will be stabilized by today, and that they are hoping for the support by not only the learners but also community members, support for these two new caretaker principals that have been instated here in the meantime, just until a permanent position has been filled.
Yeah. So just two questions for you, Monique, regarding this. I mean, the picket notice that you read there almost insinuates that the picket or the protest will continue until Friday should the learners and those community members invited to attend not be satisfied with the outcome or the results that they wish to get from the department, right? So do we know whether or not it will extend beyond that or just for the week? That's the first question. But the second, the two caretakers, do they still feel safe coming to school and, you know, continue with their roles, or will they also be staying behind for the duration of this picket?
Well, according to the department, it will still be business as usual, because the department says yesterday schooling seemed to have gone on as per normal when this protest just seemed to suddenly break out. And the department does say it's just a minority group of learners that took part in this protest. It wasn't exactly a large crowd, but from the videos that we've seen, the learners seemed quite passionate in their protest, in calling for the reinstatement of Mr. Neumann, which, as I mentioned before, the department says is legally not possible. So we are definitely going to be staying here at at least until 9 o'clock to see if this picket that we've just seen seems to be organized by either community members, former SGB members who are still in support of Mr. Neumann, because some of the learners who I've spoken to, they say they'll also just see what happens today, because I've heard there's been some alleged intimidation by teachers telling them to just get back to class, get back to teaching and learning, especially at this crucial point where they are busy with exams. So we'll see what happens today, and we'll see who we can speak to. I know that usually when it comes to matters, sensitive matters like this one, we usually can only speak to the department on this, and it's not always the case that we can get the principals, especially caretaker principals, those who have just temporarily been put in place. But I will try to get some answers and to see if they will be willing to share their concerns, if any, or share their thoughts with us.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Monique Mortlock, for this update. Surely we'll come back to you as soon as there are other developments. Monique Mortlock, after us, of course, at Heathfield High School, where we understand Mr. Wesley Neumann, who was fired for insubordination and misconduct. Now, of course, those learners in the school are seeking his reinstatement and actually threatening a picket.